Okay, so welcome to today's workout. Today's workout is a full body weights workout using kettlebells. So we have a range of kettlebells. These are a great way to work out from home. So let's get straight into it. We're going to start with a gentle warm up. So what we're going to do, as our usual warm up at the moment, we're going to start by jogging on the spot. So 3, 2, 1, and jog on the spot with me, just gentle at first. We're going to do 20 seconds of jogging on the spot just to get the blood flowing, the blood pumping. Okay, 10 more seconds. You don't need to push it yet, we're just warming up. Just get the blood flowing, soft knees, move the arms a little bit. 3, 2, and 1. Okay, take 10 seconds break, have a little shake it out if you want. Get moving a little bit if you want to start, stretching into your hips a little bit. 3, 2, 1, we're gonna go again, let's go. 20 seconds again. We're gonna jog a little bit faster this time though. Knees a little bit higher, arms a little bit more. 10 more seconds, let's go a bit faster, speed it up. This isn't gonna be a long warm up, speed it up. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, take a break. You should feel your heart rate start to elevate now, your breathing start to elevate a little bit. Let's go again in 3, 2, 1. Let's go, faster this time, higher knees this time. That's it, come on, push it now. Higher knees, higher knees, higher knees, that's it. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, and take a break, okay. So we're not doing HIIT here, we're not doing loads of cardio, we're just getting our body warmed up a little bit. So what we're gonna do now is a slightly different warm up to what we've done before. What we're gonna do is we're gonna widen our legs, something like this, apart like this, and then we're gonna do reaching up and down with a sort of straddled position. So just go as wide as you can. This is not about injuring yourself. What we're gonna do is keep our legs wide, gonna reach down as far as we can. If you can touch the floor, that's great. If you can't, don't worry. Breathe out, and then we're gonna reach all the way up to the ceiling. Gonna reach down, and all the way up to the ceiling. We'll do this 10 times. That's 2, all the way down, all the way up. That's 3, all the way down, and all the way up. That's 4, all the way down, and all the way up. That's 5, all the way down, and all the way up. That's 6, all the way down, all the way up. 7, 8, all the way down. 9, and one more time, all the way down, and all the way up. 10. Okay, perfect. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna build on that now. We're gonna go back to that position, we're gonna grab our lightest kettlebell. So for you, most of you, that might be a 4 kilo. What you're gonna do is you're gonna grab it in your right arm. If you remember how to do a shoulder press, you want your elbow up like that, and we're gonna raise it up over our head so it's by our ear. Then widen your legs to that same position, maybe slightly narrower. Keep the kettlebell by your ear, and you're just gonna reach down to one side. So you're gonna reach down as far as you can to your left with the kettlebell on your right. You can keep that pointing up to the ceiling. You obviously can't keep it against your ear now. We're gonna do that. 2, reach down. I can't go that far, that's fine. Reach down as far as you can, whilst keeping your legs straight. 3, reach down as far as you can, keeping your legs straight. 4, and then one more time. Keeping that kettlebell up, and 5. Okay, switch arms, bring that down, elbow up, press that overhead, keep the kettlebell by your ear initially, just keep that arm should remain in the same position. You're gonna reach down with your right arm now. So reach down as far as you can. If you're really flexible, you might touch your foot, and then stand up. I'm nowhere near there. 1, do 5 of these. Reach down, 2, 3. You don't want to lean too far forward, it's just to the side. 4, and 5. Okay, you can put that kettlebell down now. Good work so far. Then what we're going to do, we're going to do a gentle hip stretch. We're going to do our greatest stretch of all time. It is a great stretch. So you may remember this one if you've done this before. We're going to stand at the back of our mat. We're going to take a long lunge and then come down with our back knee. Now you can also get into it from all fours if that's too difficult. So come in all fours, raise your right foot up, plant your left hand on the ground next to your right foot, and then you're going to reach down with your right elbow. I'm mixing up my sides today, aren't I? So left hand down, right foot forward, reach down with your right elbow to your right foot, and then reach all the way up to the ceiling with your right hand. And we're going to do that 5 times. So reach down and up, down and up, down and up. And 2 more times. Breathe out. And then 1 more time. You don't have to push it too far, you don't want to injure yourself. Then what we're going to do is we're going to change legs. So back to all fours, now left leg forward, quite a long lunge. Right hand stays planted in line with your front left foot. Reach down with your left elbow to your left foot, and then reach up to the sky, and that's 1. Reach down and up, that's 2. Reach down and up, that's 3. Reach down and up, that's 4. And 1 more time, down and up, that's 5. Okay, perfect. Come back to all fours, stand up. Now what we're going to do is just going to warm up the shoulders again. We're going to grab our resistance band. So you should have a resistance band, something like this. Now at the beginning, you can hook your hands in. If you find this too easy, then you want to grab it a bit narrow. I'm going to start grabbing it a bit narrow, but you may need to start with just your thumbs in. Because what we're going to do is we're going to rotate it up and over and back to warm our shoulders up, keeping our arms straight. And what you want to do is go narrow enough that you can feel the stretch in your shoulders, but not so narrow that you have to bend your arms. You don't want to do that. You want to keep your arms completely straight. So let's do 10 of these. So keep it in front, all the way over, shrug up, touch the back, arms straight all the time, and that's 1. All the way to the back, and all the way to the front, that's 2. All the way to the back, all the way to the front, that's 3. All the way to the back, all the way to the front, that's 4. 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, then the last thing we're going to do, put that band down, is a quick set of pulses in and out of child's pose, which is a yoga position. You may know it. What we're going to do is we're going to come back down to hands and knees. Place your hands further out in front, so a couple of feet in front of where your hands usually would be in hands and knees, and then sit back onto your heels. This is a great stretch. Sit back, let your chest drop, keep your head up. You don't need to dip your head. And then come out of it when you go through that 10 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sit all the way back, chest down. 8, 9. Oh, there's my knee clicking. You need to put cushions underneath, that's fine. And 10. Ooh, nice click. Okay. Let's stand up however you need. Let's get started with the workout. So the first move we're going to do is something called, straighten my mat up, a kettlebell sumo deadlift. And this is a great exercise. It's actually almost a full body exercise, but it primarily is going to work your bum, give you a nice lifted firm bum, and also your hamstrings, but it's also going to work your core and your lower back as well. So what we're going to do, we're going to grab a kettlebell. This one you will want to go heavy on. Maybe not the first set, but you want to build up to a heavy weight. Like when our clients get strong with this, some of our clients are using a barbell and they're deadlifting 100 kilos. We've had a lady deadlift 100 kilos at age 60. So this is a movement you can be very strong on. I've only got up to 12 kilos here, but this is one where you may want to invest in heavier kettlebells over time. Maybe a 20, even a 32 kilo kettlebell. But I'm going to start with my 12. You might want to start with your middleweight one and then see how that goes. And what we're going to do, I'm going to place that sort of in the middle of my mat, and I'm going to come to a slightly wider position. You might see why we warmed up like this now. So usually if we're squatting and things like that, our feet are sort of shoulder width apart, maybe slightly wider. We're going to come wider still. That's why it's called a sumo position. Now, once we're in that position, our toes can be pointing a little bit out. What we're going to do is we're going to bend forward and grab onto the kettlebell. Now, the starting position is very important. We're not hunched over. We don't have our head down. We have our chest up and we have our bum back. So I'll show you from the side as well. So we're not in a squat position. We're not all the way down like we're sat on the toilet. We're in the middle of a squat position and just standing with straight legs. So we have a little bit of a bend in our knees, not a massive bend, let's say somewhere between 90 and 45 degrees, or 135 degrees if we're going to be really technical about it. But the point is, we're going to have a little bend in our legs, our bum is going to be back, and we're going to have our chest up. It's a little bit uncomfortable, but if you get the position right, and you just put some tension in your hamstrings, you just sit back into it slightly, the weight should start to come off the ground like it is for me here. So the tension should be in your hamstrings. So you get that by lifting your chest. And then all we're going to do is stand up with it. Very, very simple. The key is to keep your core tight and keep your chest up. You don't want to drop it down because that's when you hurt your back. So I'll show you from the front as well. This is a slightly complicated movement, hence the long description. So grab it with two hands, butt back, chest is up, feel that tension in your hamstrings, and then stand up, thrusting your hips forwards. This is a bit of a hip thrusty movement. That's what works your bum. So we're going to do 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps on this. So you should be able to go relatively heavy on this. So let's get after it. First set, see how you do. You may want to start a bit lighter. If you can't bend down into that position because you're not that flexible, what you can do is you can get a box or something underneath that kettlebell and you can start from a slightly higher position for now. That's absolutely fine. And then you can work down to having it on the floor. Because the worst thing is if you can't get down to the floor without arching your back loads, without ending up hunched over like this, you're going to injure yourself. So let's get into the first set. Feet wide apart, toes pointing out. Grab onto that kettlebell, lift your chest, sitting back into your bum, and then stand up quickly and we can lower it down under control. That's 1, 2, 3, and as we lower down, we shoot the bum back first. 4, bum back. 5, bum back, chest up. 6, bum back, chest up. 7, bum back, chest up. 8, bum back, chest up, keep your core tight, chest up. 9, and 10. Really good, guys. So we're going to take a slightly longer rest than perhaps you might be used to. We're going to take up to 90 seconds. We'll see how we feel. You probably didn't go too heavy on that first one, so you might be okay. But when we're lifting heavier weights, so something like a deadlift especially, we can go heavy on. What you want to do is take a little bit longer rest than you might usually do on a higher repetition movement. If we're doing 15 repetitions, especially on the upper body, it can recover quite quickly because it's a small muscle and we're not lifting really heavy weights, we're just doing it fairly quickly. When we're doing 8 to 10 reps, 6 reps, maybe even 3 reps, we should be going heavier. The lower the repetitions, the heavier we should be going with the weights. And that's what's really going to accelerate your growth, accelerate your metabolism as well by lifting more and building more muscle. So we'll take about another 30, 40 seconds and then we'll go about doing this again. But this is a great opportunity. Once you get comfortable with the movement, I'm not saying rush into this, but when you do, maybe if you're repeating this workout, what you can do is you can increase the weight. For most people, they should be able to lift 16, 20 kilos on this, no problem at all. Maybe even 30 kilos if you're naturally quite strong. So you may want to invest in a heavier kettlebell once you've got comfortable with these movements. It is a great investment because you can use this for all of your workouts. And we have tons and tons of workouts in Trinity that you can do with kettlebells. So let's get after it. Let's do set number 2. I'll do it side on this time so you can see a different view. So again, feet quite wide apart, at least a foot wider than shoulder width. Shoot your bum back. You can see what it should look like from the side now. Get that tension in your hamstrings, so sit back into it a little bit. Arms straight, chest up, and then we're going to stand up. 1. And stand up by squeezing your bum and shooting your hip through. 2. You don't need to lean lows back at the top. 3. Just come up to straight. 4. Down under control. 5. Down under control. 6. 7. 8. 9. And 10. And again, if you're not sure if the weight's too heavy or not, the main thing is, have you got your form right? Yes, if you've got your form right, then what you want to do is increase the weight to the point where you can only get another couple of repetitions out. And this may be limited by your grip. This is a limitation of kettlebells that gets to a point where you struggle to hold on to it more than you struggle to lift it. And that's when it's useful to use things like barbells. But for the time being, you should be fine. So get your breath back. You may want to increase your weight again. You only want to be able to do maybe 3 to 5 more repetitions if you really, really had to push it. If someone was there shouting at you and they're saying this is life or death, you should only be able to do 3 to 5 more repetitions after the number of repetitions we're doing. If you're able to do another 10, another 20, it's probably too light. So we're going to go again in about 20 seconds. So I'll go front on again this time, just to be polite. Hopefully you've seen that side view now and that was helpful. So we're halfway through. We've got 2 more sets on this exercise, but this is an absolutely brilliant exercise for building strength, shaping and sculpting your body, and also kind of burning lots of calories because it's using so many big muscles. So let's go again, feet wide apart. Stick your bum back, chest out. Grab onto that weight, 2 hands. Load it into your hamstrings, so sit back a bit, and then let's stand up. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm feeling it in my bum. Hopefully you are. 5. Squeeze that bum. 6. Squeeze it. 7. Hips through. 8. 9. And 10. Okay, good work. Take a breather. Again, we'll take about between 60 and 90 seconds to really get your breath back, and also to really allow your muscles to recover, because even if you get your breath back, your muscles can take a bit longer for the energy systems in your muscles to replenish, especially if you're lifting heavy. To really, really max out your lifts, you actually need up to 5 minutes to recover. Now, this is not going to be heavy enough for that. We're not doing sort of 1 repetition as heavy as we can, what's called a 1 rep max. But we are going to be going relatively heavy, so we probably do need closer to 90 seconds on this. Even if you're used to taking much shorter breaks and going much lighter. That's what most people are comfortable with. But most people don't look that great because they're not lifting weights in the correct way. They're just kind of swinging them around body pump style. And that doesn't get the best results. Doesn't really build much muscle, doesn't really build your metabolism, and doesn't lead to it becoming easier to stay in shape and easier to lose fat. That's what it's all about. That's why we're lifting weights. So get your breath back. We'll go again in about 20 seconds. So get set up. I'll go side on again. In fact, I'll go 45 degrees this time just to give you another angle, because it's always useful to see it from a couple of angles, even if you just start a couple of reps after me once you've had a quick look. Because ideally, once you're in the movement, you're not going to be watching too much. So let's plant our feet on either side of the kettlebell. Kettlebell should be in between our feet. Grab it with 2 hands. Sit back into it, chest up, stand up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, shoulders back, chest out. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good work. So that's a tricky movement, but that one's a really, really effective movement. So I'll show you the next movement. I need to move these out of the way. And in fact, I need to take my shoes off for this one because they're too grippy. So let's chuck that over there. And I'm going to take my shoes off, keep my socks on. And we're going to do a movement called the skater squat. I may even need to move this mat out the way a little bit. So what we're going to be doing is a skater squat. A skater squat is where we slide back with 1 foot. Like that. So like an ice skater goes like this, but they go forward. We're going to do that, but we're going to be going backwards into this one. So we're going to stand up straight, stand up tall. We're going to slide back as far as we can under control. You may not be able to go that far. You might literally be able to just do that. That's okay. We're going to go back as far as we can and as low as we can. When you get better at it, you can increase the weight, but for now, we're just going to do it with our body weight. Can't hold on to a weight like a goblet squat. What we're going to do is slide back. If you can go the whole way, that's brilliant. But for most of you, it's probably just going to be some of the way, especially if you've got sore knees. Just go some of the way. And you may even need to hold on to something like this. If your balance isn't that good, maybe just with 1 hand and slide back like that. So grab something if you need. We're going to get into it in just a second, but we're just going to slide back, keeping our body and torso upright, sliding our feet. You may need to put something, you can put some kitchen towel under your feet. It actually works quite well if it's quite grippy. If you haven't got socks on, like I have on a wooden floor, you may need to put something else under there that slides. You might have to be creative, a cushion, whatever it is. Just be careful, hold on to something for your first set. So we're going to do 4 sets of 8 to 10 per leg. I'm going to go for 10 reps per leg. I'm going to go for freestanding, but you can use something to hold on to, and I would recommend you do it at the beginning. So let's get after it. Set 1. 1. I'm just going to do the same leg, by the way. 2, so I'm going to left leg back. 3. 4, put my arms out to balance. Keep my chest up. 5. 6, under control. Don't want to be slamming our knee. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, switch legs. So you should be feeling a bit of a burn in that leg now. I certainly am. So 1, going right leg now. 2, 3, my balance is worse on this side. 4, 5. If you need to hold on to something, that's fine. 6, maybe just on one side. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good work. Okay, we'll take a nice break again. Whew, getting a little bit of a sweat on. It's a great exercise, this one, for building up the stability in your leg, working on your balance, working your core, but mainly focusing on your quadriceps, which gives you nice sculpted shaped legs. And one misconception a lot of people have is they think if their legs are big at the moment, if they've got some weight to lose, a lot of people think that that's all muscle. And it's tempting to think that, we like to think that, but really, if you look at a fatty steak, the meat on a steak is muscle, but it's also interdispersed with loads of fat. And that tends to be what happens as you gain fat. You just get all that fat within the muscle. So it's not really lean tone muscle. It's very, very fatty in there. So if you have a big leg, it's not due to the muscle, it's due to the fat. So by eating the right diet, by controlling your calorie intake, which is what we do inside Trinity, controlling your food choices, picking better food choices, you can lose that fat. That does tend to come mostly from diet. And then by doing this training, you'll build up the important bit, the nice firm toned muscle, which is actually very small, but very nicely shaped and sculpted and defined. They only become really big if you do tons of training like a bodybuilder. So let's get into it though. Set 2, we're gonna go one on left leg again. So if you need to grab something, go ahead and grab it. Let's go 10 reps again, sliding back. 1, 2, 3, keep looking ahead. 4, go under control. You don't have to go as low as I am. 5, just as low as you can. This is about you, not about me. 6, 7, 8, it's not worth hurting yourself just to copy. 9, but if you are, that's great. And 10. Okay, switch sides. Let's go. 1, right leg back now. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, feeling the burn. Keep going. 7, 8, push through that front foot. 9, push through the front foot. And 10, slide back and push through that front foot. Good work. Get your breath back. Shake it out a little bit if you need. We're going to take about 90 seconds break. Maybe a little bit quicker again. We'll see how we're feeling. Allow those muscles to recover so we can give it all in the next set. We don't want to take it to the point where we can't do it anymore and we're just sort of a shaking mess. We have to reduce the weight loads, or we have to let the form and the technique go out the window, go in the gutter, go in the bin. So just get your breath back. About 30, 40 seconds to go. If you need to grab a drink and then get back to it. We often don't need as much water as we think during workouts. So as long as you had some before the workout, you should be fine. My throat's a little bit dry, but I don't think it's the end of the world in my experience. All right, let's get set up again. So stand nice and upright, brace your core, arms out in front. We're gonna go back on a left leg first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a little wobble there, 7, 8, keep it under control, 9, and 10. Okay, switch legs, let's go. 1, keep your chest up, 2, body upright, core tight, 3, 4, 5, 6, this one's definitely harder for me, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good work, just one more of these. This is one of the hardest movements we do. Get your breath back, allow your legs to recover. And one interesting thing actually is that a lot of people think that you need to do loads and loads of ab exercises, and they are good for building your abdominal muscles, or core exercises are good for building that core strength, which is slightly different. But in order to actually reveal a flat stomach, to reveal abs, get those nice ab lines or whatever you're after, that generally comes to A, losing fat through good nutrition, and then B, you can get a lot of that definition through just compound movements like we're doing here, where you're having to brace your core. Like, I don't do tons and tons of ab movements, but I do have a six-pack just because A, I'm lean, so my nutrition is good and it's been good for years, and then secondly, that I do lots of exercises where I'm using my core. But I don't do many direct ab exercises. But the misconception is that if you train the abdominal muscles, you do sit-ups, you do crunches, that we will somehow burn the belly fat. Doesn't work like that. You burn fat all over your body just by eating correctly. That's how burning fat happens, eating the right amount of food for you, not too much, not too little, eating at that sweet spot for you, which is what we help people do inside Trinity. Because if you eat too little, it messes up your metabolism, you can't stay consistent, and therefore you don't lose fat. If you eat loads and loads and loads of food, you're obviously going to gain fat because there's too much energy coming in. So to get those abs, it's actually about staying consistent with nutrition and then doing a little bit of training on the side, but it's not about doing those ab exercises because that just builds the ab muscles. I mean, it's not going to make them that big, but it builds the muscles. It doesn't burn fat. That's a misconception. So we've got one more set to do. We've had a nice break now. Stand up. Let's go. In fact, I'll do this one facing forward just to give you a little different perspective. So arms out. I'm going to go back on my left leg first. 1, 2, a little wobble there. 3. Notice I'm trying to keep my knees in the middle of my foot. 4. I'm not allowing it to collapse inwards. 5. 6. I'm looking straight ahead. 7. That helps with balance. I'm not looking around. 8. 9. And 10. Okay, switch sides. Shake it out. Hands out, let's go. 1, a little wobble here. 2, 3, 4. Keep going. 5, I know it's getting hard. At least it's for me. 6, keep that chest up. It's tempted to drop it. 7, but then it gets harder. 8, little wobble. 9, and 10. Okay. We are done on that squat squat. That is a hard movement. Really, really well done. So you can put your shoes back on now if you want. I actually don't need them on at the moment. We'll just put them over here. What we're going to be doing next is what's called a kettlebell overhead press. So we're going to be taking our kettlebell, pressing it over our heads with both arms. And this is a great movement for your shoulders to help sculpt those shoulders, give you nice arms. They'll look great in dresses and things like that, as well as just helping to build overall strength. Also works your core because you're going to have to brace your body to lift that weight overhead. If your core was weak, you're not bracing it, it's not stable, and then you can hurt yourself and you can't lift as much weight. So what we're going to do, I'm going to start with my middle weight. You might want to start on your lightest weight. It's fairly simple, this movement. I'll do it facing forward first. We're going to pick our kettlebell up, practice that deadlift technique, and we're going to hold it in front of us, in front of our chest, like so. So we can rest the handle almost on our collarbones. If you've got big chest muscles, then you can rest it on there. But keep your elbows up. We don't want them to collapse too much. And then we're just going to press it overhead like so. Straight arms by our ears, looking straight ahead. If I show you from the front, you can breathe out at the top, always feels good, and lower it down. You can try doing it the other way up, but I think that's more difficult. So the way I would suggest doing it is kettlebell, the kettle part of it, I should say, facing down. Hold it up on your chest. We're going to do 4 sets of 8 to 10. This is only on one side. So we're going to start with it here, pick your weight up, and then we're going to press it overhead. I would hook your thumbs around it. You can do it without that, but it might fall on your head, so I wouldn't recommend that at all. So hold it up against your chest and press overhead. 1. Keep your bum tense, 2, and your abs, your core tense as well. That'll give you a strong foundation. 3, 4, when you come up, push your head through. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good work. Lower that down. You should feel that burn in the shoulders. If it's too difficult, if it's too easy, you may need to adjust weight at this point. Hopefully you've got a light enough kettlebell. If you have to drop the rep slightly and do 6, that's fine. If you don't have quite the right weight and you're doing too many slightly, that's also fine. Let's say you're doing 12. The main thing is you're pushing yourself and you're coming somewhere close to failure, but you're not quite at failure. So let's take another 30 seconds or so, and then we'll get right back into this one again. You may want to increase your weight. I'm going to increase my weight now. Now I've got a feel for that movement. I'm going to go for the big boy. A 12, not actually huge, but big enough for this. But the point is you want to be working for you somewhere close to failure. I'm doing this as a demo, so I'm not really going to be coming quite close to failure because I couldn't talk to you at that point, probably. So let's go again. What we're going to do, pick it up again. Grab hold of each side of the kettlebell. Hold it in front of your chest. I'll go side on this time and show you what I'm talking about. Brace your core. Tense your bum. So tuck your bum under, squeeze the butt cheeks, and push it overhead. That's it. And then lower it under control. That's 1, 2, 3. Head through. Keep that bum tight all the time. 4, 5, 6. Core tight. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good work. Place that weight down under control. Okay, another little rest. Shake it out a little bit. Maybe shake your shoulders out a little bit. If you're finding it tight in your shoulders, you can do a nice stretch against the wall, where it's like the prisoner stretch. You put your arms out, you sit back into it, and you feel the stretch in your shoulders. You could also do that on a side like that. So something like this. Push your chest through, sit your bum back, especially if you don't have very flexible shoulders. So we're going to go again in about 20 seconds. So get acquainted by your weight. I'll do it facing forward again this time. So feet shoulder width apart. Shake it out. Grab your kettlebell on either side. Stand up with it. Lift it up to your chest so it's touching the top of your collarbone, and let's press it overhead. Squeeze your butt, squeeze your core, and press. 1, 2. Bring it back down below your chin. 3, 4. Hold on tight. 5. Don't let your back bend. Keep it tight. 6, 7, 8. Keep your bum tight, core tight. 9, 10. Okay, lower that weight down. One more set to go on this. Get your breath back. And again, this should be pushing you. This should be making your shoulders feel, you almost get that pumped feeling, that tight feeling in your shoulders when you're lifting the weight and it's heavy enough. It feels a little bit weird if you're not used to it. It can feel like you're not going to be able to do any more. That's why you need long enough rest to actually allow that muscle to recover. Get that oxygen debt back, pay off that oxygen debt, as you could say, so you can then lift again. So don't worry if it's feeling tight and feeling pumped. That's how it should feel. Just shake it out, breathe. We've only got one more set to go, but it should be feeling more like that than just like you can just keep going and going and going and going and going. It's probably too light then if you can't feel anything in the shoulder muscle in this bit at all. Okay, we're going to go again in 15 seconds. If you need, shake your arms out again, get that blood flowing to them. A little shake all over if you want. Have a dance if you listen to music. Let's pick up the kettlebell. Hold it on each side. I'll go side on again for you guys. Okay, tense your bum. Tuck that bum under. Squeeze your abs and let's press overhead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, remember to breathe, 10. Okay, good work. So place that down. I'll show you the next movement whilst you have a little break. So the next movement we're going to do is very similar to one you may have heard before called the kettlebell pendlay row. So any rowing movement is going to have some variation of doing this, pulling your arm back like that, or two together. So the pendlay row and the bent over row are slightly different. We're doing the bent over row today. So the pendlay row starts on the floor. So a pendlay row looks like this, and you put it back on the floor between each repetition. A bent over row, we're going to start with it up in the air, and we're going to row like that. You can use a chair and rest your hand on the chair and row like this. If you've got a bad back, I would 100% recommend you do that. So I'll show you with a chair how you can do that. So if we put our chair like this, in fact, let's put it on this mat so it doesn't slip away. What you can do is you can rest your front hand and have your front knee behind it on the chair. That's going to take your back out of it. Then you can grab the kettlebell. We're going to start with it in the air like that, and we're going to row like this. If you don't have a bad back, you can just do it like this, or you can brace against your leg. I'm going to do it that way, but that's just a piece of advice if you do have a bad back. So what we're going to do, it's kind of like the deadlift position that we did at the beginning, but with our feet narrower. So we're going to stand on either side of the kettlebell, have it between our feet, directly in between our body. And we're going to grab it, just like we did with the deadlift, stand up a little bit off the floor, and then we're going to pull that kettlebell into our waist. And we're just going to row like that. You can grab your other leg, and we're going to do 4 sets of 8 to 10 on each side. I'll show you on the other side. You think about sending that elbow to the ceiling as you pull it up. Elbow to the ceiling. Elbow to the ceiling, keeping your body still. So let's do 4 sets of 8 to 10 of that. I'll face forward for the first one. Let's grab that right arm first. Let's go. So we're starting off in the air and we're going to stay with it up in the air. 1, 2, elbow to the ceiling. 3, keep your back straight, not hunched over. 4, keep your core tight. 5, 6, we're aiming for 8 to 10. 7, 8, 9, and 10. Switch arms, put that down, brace on the other side, pick it up. 1, 2, 3, keep under control. 4, body tight. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. That's good. If you're feeling that in your back a bit too much, a bit worried about it, do grab that chair, rest on your hand on that chair, take that strain out of it. We're going to take a break. We don't need quite such a long break because we're alternating arms on this one. So we'll take about 30 seconds and then we'll get back into it again. Big breath. Okay, about 15 seconds to go. And repeat again. I'll do it side on this time so you can see a slightly different angle again. Okay, so 10 seconds. Stand just wider than shoulder width apart or shoulder width apart, whatever's comfortable for you. I'm going to brace my left hand against my left leg. I'm going to grab the kettlebell with my right arm, stand up a little bit, keep my back straight, and then row into my waist. 1, 2, elbow to the ceiling. 3, 4. It's better to think elbow to ceiling than kettlebell to waist, actually. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Switch arms. Can do it in the air. Brace with your right arm against your right leg. Let's go. 1, pulling with your left arm. 2 to the ceiling. 3, elbow to the ceiling. 4, elbow to the ceiling. Keep that kettlebell nice and close to you. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, place that kettlebell down. Well done. Halfway through this one already. We're going to take about 30 seconds and then we're going to go again. Take a deep breath. You should be feeling this down the sides of your back or in your bicep, in your arm, or maybe even in your grip a little bit, in your forearms. This is a great exercise for all of those, and you can also work your core a bit. And that's what's one thing that's great about weights again. It works all parts of your body, tones them all up really, really nicely. Okay, so we're going to go in 5 seconds again. I'm going to face forward this time. Brace with your left arm. Stand up with it. Keep your chest up and let's row. 1, 2, right arm. 3, 4, 5. All my shoulders clicking nicely. 6, 7. Keep it close to you. 8, 9, and 10. Switch arms. Brace on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, got one more set to go on this. Then we've just got one more movement after this. Doing really, really well. Okay, go again in 20 seconds. Right arm first. And you may hear, I don't know how well this picks it up on the microphone, my shoulders are crunching a little bit. That is quite normal. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Doesn't mean you're getting injured. It's just part of life, really. As long as you don't feel pain, it's not really a problem. So let's go again. Brace, pick it up, and row. Right arm to the ceiling. 1, 2, right elbow, sorry. 3, keep your body still. 4, don't swing around. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Switch arms. Brace on the other side. Let's go. 1, 2. Think elbow to the ceiling. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good work. Finished on that movement. So let's just move these out of the way a little bit. And I will show you the last movement. So the last thing we're going to be doing is a variation of the push-up. Now, for most people, it's difficult to do a full push-up. So we're going to start by doing push-ups on your knees. And we'll do them on the mat. If the mat's uncomfortable, you may need to put cushions under your knees. That's absolutely fine. A pillow under your knees. So what we're going to do, come on to hands and knees. That's the first place to start. If you're just starting out, just do hands and knees and just go as low as you can. And we're going to be going to failure. So you're going to do as many repetitions as you can. If you're not quite sure, I'll give you a number to aim for. Go for 10 to 15. Now, if you all find that easy, you can just go like this. And it's also a little bit awkward. You can move your knees back. So move them back maybe half a foot at a time. Keep your shoulders over your hands. And then you can push up like this. And you'll notice this is harder. So just find a point where it's relatively difficult for you, and you're going to aim for, I would say 10 repetitions, in fact. That's what we're doing today. If that's really easy, move them even further back. Remember, keep your shoulders over your hands. You may even need to move your hands back slightly. Keep your core braced. You don't want to be bananaing on push-ups like that. It's not a worm. You also don't want to have your bum just up and you're doing that. Shoulders over your hands and press down. So let's aim for 10. We're going to go to failure. And you want to keep your elbows somewhere tucked into your sides, but try and find a position with your knees where you can get 10 out, even if that's really close to your hands like this. So I'm going to go to do a full pull-up, push-up on my knees. I'm not going to go up like this because there's no need. I'm trying to show you the knee one. So I'm going to go as far back as I can. Shoulders over my hands. Let's do our first set. I'm going to go for 10, as many as I can. Keep my elbows into the sides. 1, 2, 3. Keep your core tight. Bum up. 4, 5. Whew, that's harder than I thought. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good work. However many you did, that's not about competing with me. It's about competing with yourself. So just do as many as you can. Take a rest on your knees if you can stretch that, although a lot of people can't. But I'm just stretching out my quads. Or just stand up, shake it out. We'll go again in about 30 seconds. So we need to give it enough time that our muscles have recovered and we can go again. Take a deep breath. Come back down into that hands and knees position. Like so. I'll actually turn my mat this way so you can see a different perspective on it. And let's go again. So I'm on my knees. Shoulders are over my hands. Hands are somewhere near the edge of the mat. Yours might need to be a little bit narrower. And then I'm going to press down. Keep my elbows into my sides, not flared out. That's how you hurt yourself. Let's go as many as you can. 1, 2. Keep up with me as much as you can. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. If you can go further, that's even more amazing. Sit back and relax. We've got 2 more sets of this to go. We'll take about 45 seconds, maybe a minute, and then we'll do our next set, and then we've got 1 more after that. If you need to stand up, if you want to go back into a child's pose, there are 2 good things you can do. You can come back like this, stretch your shoulders out. You can even do a downward dog if you love yoga. Okay, so we're going to go again in about 20 seconds. If you need to take slightly longer over it, it's okay as well. But I wouldn't take shorter than this break, or you won't be able to push it as much as you should be able to, and you won't make as much progress. So, knees, I should have said this earlier, but knees sort of shoulder width or just a bit narrower. As close or as far away as you need from your hands. Okay, keep your elbows into your sides. Shoulders are over your hands as you start, and let's go. 1, 2, as low as you can. 3, 4, don't let your butt and your hips drop. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, we've just got 1 more set on this to go. Do some sort of stretch if you need to stretch at this point. Start your warm down. This is a great one actually to stretch your quadriceps. If you have bad knees, if you can even come back, that's amazing, but I couldn't do this until more recently. I got into more stretching. You can just do a child's pose if you want. We're going to go again in about 30 seconds. So again, we'll get set up in all 4s. I'll put it at 45 degrees angle now so you can see a little bit more of what I'm doing. That may be helpful. So I'm going to place my hands somewhere near the edge of the mat. Shoulders over the hands. Knees as close or as far away as you can do. Don't need to do something you can't do. And then keep your core tight, no bananaing, and then let's go down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Awesome. So, great work, guys. Hope you enjoyed today's workout. That is the end of it. If you've got time, go ahead and have a nice stretch. If not, enjoy the rest of your day.